Hello there. A high volume of travel and additional border checks required due to Brexit have led to long traffic jams in Great Britain on the way across the English Channel to France. Trade unions, port authorities, and the French authorities agreed that the main reason for this was Britain's exit from the EU. British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, on the other hand, blamed France. Yeah, what did you expect? Well, cars and trucks waited in lines stretching for miles at the ports of Dover. The ferry company P&O Ferries said it would take 3 to 4 hours to get to the port and go through security checks. And on Friday, there were 6 and more. The French border authorities are understaffed, said Truss, who is running to succeed Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And she said Paris must do something to resolve the terrible situation that travelers, including families, are facing. Yeah, definitely it's France's fault. The prefect of the Hauts-de-France region, Georges-François Leclerc, said France had done its job by increasing its border staff in Dover from 120 to 200 people. But because of an accident on Friday, French border officials arrived late at their post in Dover. And this caused delays. And French Transport Minister Clément Beaune said French authorities were mobilized to ease traffic. However, France is not responsible for Brexit. Exactly. With the UK leaving the European Union, border checks and additional formalities for freight traffic were reintroduced. At the entrance to the port of Dover, there had therefore been repeated traffic jams, especially for trucks in the past few months. In addition, there is now holiday traffic, which was not as pronounced last summer due to numerous corona restrictions. And French MP Pierre-Henri Dumont, whose constituency includes the French canal port of Calais, also called the travel chaos a consequence of Brexit. We have to carry out more checks than before, that's what he told the BBC. There will always be traffic jams. And the port director of Dover, Doug Bannister, also initially spoke of a shortage of French border guards. However, he acknowledged that there are now increased transaction times after Brexit. Lucy Martin of the UK union ISU, which represents border immigration and customs workers, said the traffic jams were a reasonably predictable consequence of Britain's exit from the EU. Joan, a listener for London radio station LBC, provided a frontline report for the presenter this week. Together with her disabled sister Gina, she encountered the traffic jam in front of the Eurotunnel at 8:30 in the morning and then needed 8 hours to cover the last stretch of 1.6 kilometers. The verge is now a public urinal. It was unbearably hot and people ran out of water, she complained. The British are denied their holidays abroad, she said. After cars had been backed up in front of the ferry in Dover for up to 20 hours last weekend, the entrance to the Eurotunnel in Folkestone came into view. The Automobile Association, that's something from my point of view like the British ADAC, spoke of a holiday hell hotspot. What's wrong? And above all, who's to blame? Because even if in Great Britain the question of guilt in the private sphere is usually settled with a sorry from all sides, the serenity stops when you go on vacation. Nerves are additionally tense because travel alternatives, even domestically, seem even less attractive. Most railway companies are currently on strike. Rail traffic has fallen to 20% in the past few days. The airports, in turn, are overloaded due to a lack of staff. Numerous flights are cancelled and luggage is piling up at many airports because the owners could not wait any longer. And to make the matters worse, work stoppages are now being announced at the British Airlines too. Politicians from the ruling Conservatives quickly identified those responsible for the traffic jams on the Channel. The French, of course, who already control British soil. Not exactly all of them had turned up at the control booths at the start of the holiday season, and I explained already why. Photos documented that at times only half of the control boxes were occupied. Will the British experience the EU's revenge for Brexit once again now? Well, at least that's what conservative columnists like Andrew Pearce suggested. There's no doubt that the French haven't forgiven us. They just hate Brexit. Macron can't take it. Well, it's not the first time this suspicion has arisen. It could already be heard when the French temporarily tightened the corona rules for people entering from the UK during the pandemic, but also during the protests that French fishermen organized off Jersey last year against the slow licensing process. In the Elysee Palace, the allegations from London are dealt with calmly. France is not responsible for Brexit. That's what French Transport Minister Clément Beaune clarified. Even the president refuses to be provoked. The list of verbal attacks from the island is too long to rouse Emmanuel Macron. Now he's acting like he's heeded Boris Johnson's advice to get a grip on yourself and donnez-moi une break. Even if people in London are convinced that the French government, especially President Macron, is generally happy to teach Brexiteers lessons, no minister has yet been found who wanted to make a direct connection to the traffic jams. It might also be a little far-fetched, though. The fact that the checkpoints were quickly filled and that the situation has eased is at least a little. That indicates that Paris did not want to wage a European campaign at the border station. So, conversely, is the French side right when they explain the delays at the border with the self-inflicted consequence of Brexit? Well, just to make this one short, yes, the French are right. Welcome to the Brexit, sir. And I'll see you in my next video. Ich komme wieder.